Okay, thank you, Yang. I first like to acknowledge National Science Foundation for supporting this work. So panel conditioning is a form of measurement error that is ubiquitous to longitudinal surveys. So everybody here probably is wondering, the impact of this, and then how do we catch for this? And then the panel conditioning, in a way, it refers to the experience of people participating in earlier rounds of the interview. They learn and then they change either how they behave, what they think, or how they report their behaviors and then opinion and attitudes. So in this talk, I'm talking mostly panel conditioning in terms of the impact of early participation on how they change their behavior. Reporting behavior, sorry. So basically, they can become a better respondents. They complete the survey once and twice, and nothing bad happens. They becoming more trusting of the survey organization, so they become better respondents. But what we as survey methodologists are concerned about is really, the experience will make them becoming bad respondents. I didn't do anything, okay? So in particular, there's a phenomenon, what we call motivated misreporting. That is, people learned from their early experience. If they say yes to something, they're going to get hundreds of other questions. So quickly for the next round, they learned to say no to avoid getting more questions. And that's what we care about. And then this phenomenon is especially common when we group all when we have the interleave format that has filter question, and then you answer yes, follow-up question, and then filter question again. So in cross-sectional studies, we find that grouped format, that is when you group all the filter questions together, and then at the end, you ask, if they answer yes to any one of them, you give follow-up questions. That format reduces motivated misreporting. And then there's the literature shows that this is the effects depends on a lot of things, like the position of the filter question, the difficulty of follow-up questions, number of follow-up questions, and repetitiveness of follow-up questions. So because the finding is really based on cross-sectional survey. So the natural question now is, what about longitudinal survey? Regardless of what happens, right? Even for the group format, at the end of the interview, they do know that I answer yes, I get more questions. So that's the same effect observed in cross-sectional surveys are going to carry over in the longitudinal survey. So Ba and Ackerman is the only study that examined this impact of grouped format in a longitudinal setting. So they had 2 waves interview. And then for each wave, the first wave, they have people assigned to grouped and interleaved. And the second wave, half people have the same assignment, the other half, they switch the assignment. But regardless what happens, the bottom line is that group format did introduce, evoke more yes answers to the filter questions than interleaved format, regardless of what happens in the earlier wave. So we take this forward now, extending this beyond 2 waves. So we want to answer 2 basic questions. Does the difference between this question format decrease across waves? And then more importantly, does the impact of this question format vary by order of the filter questions, the number and difficulty of follow-up questions? And for this one, this experiment is conducted on a national study of social, economic, and health experiences. We have 4 waves of the data collection. And for each wave, we implemented this 2 by 2 by 2 experiment. So people got the same assignment across wave. So we vary the question format, and then we vary the number of follow-up questions. Half of the people get 2, the other half people get 4 follow-up questions. We also vary the difficulty of the follow-up questions. So half get, pretty easy, mostly just involving them to check, one answer. But then for the hard condition, we asked them to, tell us, in open-ended format, different kind of things. Okay, so this is the main results for the for the purple bars, that's the group format, and for the bluish bars, that's the interleave format. So it's pretty clear that regardless of which way, what we see is that the group format did elicit more yes answers than the interleave format, so which is good. And then the differences between the question format are statistically significant for the first 3 waves, not the last wave. So apparently the impact of group format, carries over for 3 waves. And then by the first time, people do learn. I also look at for this chart, I'm plotting the difference between the question format. So the positive difference means more yes answers to the grouped question format. So what we're seeing here is that we asked this experiment on 2 sets of questions. One question is about clothing, like did you buy shoes, did you buy codes, that kind of thing. And then the other question topic is devices. Do you have smartphone? Do you have a tablet? Things like that. So what we can see here is that as across each wave, the impact of question format reduces for both topics. And then we look also at the interaction between question format with the number of follow-up and then the difficulty of follow-up. So the interesting thing is that, again, the Y bar means the difference between the group, the difference between question format. So what we can see here is that, the differences between question format is pretty low for the 2 follow-up question, easy follow-up questions. And then the difference becomes bigger now for the group where we still have 2 questions, 2 follow-ups, but it becomes harder. And the difference is become even bigger now when we move on to 4 follow-ups and easy questions. But the interesting thing is that the difference between group format becomes smaller for 4 questions and hard follow-up questions. So basically, I think I'm taking this to suggest that the group questions are really helping with easy questions or just, not more easy questions, but it doesn't really help with the easy situation where you get fewer questions, easy questions, and it also doesn't help with the most difficult situation. You have 4 questions and difficult questions. And I also look at the significant, I look at the interaction between question format and the order of the filter question. So again, I couldn't tell myself, but one of them, the purple bar is for the clothing items, and then the blue bar is for the device items. But what it is showing here is that for the later follow-up questions, you see more bigger question format differences. So to sum up, the effects of question format on reducing motivated misreporting, it persists for 3 waves, but no effect at the 4th wave. And it is the same for closing topics and then device items. It's larger for later filter questions and smaller for easy conditions or challenging conditions. And we're going to expand this research because all these are looking at item level characteristic. And the next step is to introduce a respondent level characteristics. In particular, we want to see respondents' perception of burden, and there's other attitudes about the survey and how that affects how that moderate the impact of question format. That's it. Thank you.